What is going on, you guys? Sorry about the late Dragon Ball Super review. It's the last episode. Definitely should not be late, but I was kind of busy and had some technical issues on Sunday, and then yesterday, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to talk about this episode once I actually sat down to actually try to review it. Because do I talk about it just like it's just like any other episode? Do I treat it differently because it's the last episode? I mean, obviously if I'm going to talk about it objectively, I'm not going to treat it any differently. And I do think this is an amazing episode. I really did love this episode. I thought Super went out on a really high note. The animation, the directing, the storyboarding cannot be overstated how good it is in this episode. The director and storyboard artist was Megumi Ishintani, I believe is their name, not to be confused with Naohiro Shintani, who's the new character designer and animation supervisor of the movie. This is Megumi Ishintani, and yeah, apparently from what I've heard, from Anime AJ, of course, because that's where everyone gets this knowledge from, I guess she's only been in the industry for like 3 years, and she's already directing the finale of one of the biggest franchises to come out of Japan. That's crazy. That's an incredible accomplishment, and she deserves it. This is like the best directed episode, one of the best storyboarded episodes. It's absolutely phenomenal. The music choices, and then you have Yuya Takahashi, the mini Shida himself, backing things up with some spectacular animation going into that last scene. Goku and Frieza versus Jiren. So good. And you got my boy Masahiro Shimanuki in there. You know, he's not the animator he used to be, but you know what? For considering his output on Super and some of his output on his later years in One Piece, this was pretty damn good. I mean, it's nothing Sakuga, it's nothing crazy good, but you know, it was nice to see one of my favorite animators from back on the original Dragon Ball and Z here to do some cool key animation for the finale. So that was pretty awesome. And yeah, it was just a really great first half. I mean, Yuya Takahashi especially just nailed it. It is a shame that Tadayoshi Yamamura was the supervisor of the episode, which means a lot of Yuya Takahashi's old school Dragon Ball Z-esque traits are corrected away. Whatever, I mean, it kind of sucks, but I'm kind of like, Yamamoto's done. Like, he's out the door. We got Shintani coming with the new movie, so as long as they don't suddenly go back to Yamamura when the show comes to TV again, which would be a terrible idea. You know, this is Yamamoto's last hurrah as you know, the head of Dragon Ball, and you know, he did a fine job. He's gotten better as a supervisor, you know, doing corrections and not erasing everyone else's traits and making it only him. He's done a pretty good job of like just correcting properly, like doing an actual good job at correcting and not being too draconian with it. But yeah, you know, he did a good job. Everyone on this episode did an amazing job, in my opinion, and the actual story writing, I only have 2 issues with it. The writing of the first half, the action, is all framed great. The actual action itself is cool. I like the choreography with Goku and Frieza. I don't know if that's up to storyboarding or if that was in the script, but it was really cool combat. The fact that he coordinates better with Frieza than he does with Vegeta is kind of funny. I take that as you will, but I thought that was kind of funny. Because they made a point in saying him and Vegeta don't coordinate well when they were fighting Jiren earlier, but him and Frieza were pretty in sync. Yeah, and seeing 17, of course, you know, he wins the whole thing, and no one saw that coming. You can't tell me, like, everyone says, oh, it's predictable, Frieza's gonna shoot Goku in the back and win, and betray him, or, oh, Jiren's gonna win, but then Frieza will shoot Jiren, and then, no, none of that. 17 won, the guy we thought was dead, like, 5 episodes ago. I think that's a great twist. I think it was very unpredictable, but still satisfying. I'm glad Universe 7 won. And then we have the Wish, and I think the Wish is the thing that a lot of people are going to be mad about. The Wish is to bring back all the universes that were destroyed, and I don't really have a problem with this. I do have 2 issues with the episode, and this is not one of them, actually. I'm fine with the Wish. I don't, like, yeah, there was a sense of danger with the universes being destroyed, and you might at first think, oh, well, this tournament was kind of pointless because all the universes came back. No. We got a full character arc for Kale. We got a character arc for Jiren. We got a character arc for Gohan. You know, Krillin had payoff from character development that was set up way back in Resurrection F. This tournament was very character driven, similar to like the tournament with Tien, where Tien got a lot of character development. That would be the 22nd Budokai. So yeah, I mean, just because there was no huge stakes in that tournament. It was just a fun tournament with a cool rivalry between the Crane School and the Turtle Hermit School, and You had a cool fight between Goku and Tien. Almost slipped up on their names for a second. And yeah, and Tien got character development. So I mean, that's what that tournament was. It was great. I know we're way further in the series and we're past stuff like Namek and the androids, and you want that sense of danger, but you always have to remember we're watching a show that takes place within a gap. Like, we're watching a show that takes place before the ending of the series. We know these characters are going to be alive. The only character that could be dead by the end of the series is 17. Like, he's the only character, and he was actually dead. I mean, they could bring him back with the Dragon Balls, of course, but he was actually, we thought he was dead for a second. No, I thought they handled it well. I don't care that the universes come back. I don't want Kale and Caulifla and Kaba and Hit to be gone forever if they're going to continue the series eventually. I don't want Jiren to be gone forever, especially now that he's kind of become an actual character and went through a character arc. It's not the best character arc ever. I don't know if learning to trust your friends is really a Dragon Ball theme. Like, it is a theme of Dragon Ball. I just feel like it was maybe a little bit too much in the forefront. But it was his character arc, and he went through it, and it was decent. It was well handled at the very least. I'm not saying I love it, I'm just saying it was well handled for what it was. We needed more Jiren early on, I think, in the tournament, but still, you know, it's whatever. I'm very curious to see how the manga is going to handle him. And by the way, I am going to start reviewing the manga now that the anime is done. That should be fun. That's all I'll say, is that should be fun. But yeah, I freaking really like this episode. The two things I have a problem with narratively are, one is Whis bringing back Frieza with the wave of his wand. I feel like, you know, Whis' reversing time thing with the whole 3 minutes or whatever, I'm like, okay, that's fine. It kind of breaks tension, but it's okay. Whis isn't always going to use it. But with this ability, it's like, I mean, I don't know if he can just resurrect somebody, like, oh, just bring them back from Otherworld. I don't know if this was like a thing where, because Frieza was there and he had the halo, Whis was able to just, boop, you're back to life. I don't know if the person has to be there with a halo, because if that's the case, then that's fine. Because say, you know, Goku dies, whatever, in this new movie, Whis can't just go, boop, Goku's back. You know, he'd have to go to Otherworld and then remove the halo and then bring him back. You know, that kind of thing. You know, instant transmission, whatever. So yeah. You know, I don't know. That's one thing I kind of have an issue with. I feel like that could be tension breaking, maybe inconsistent later with the movie and everything else. If there wasn't a movie coming and all that, I wouldn't really care. But because there is, and there's going to be more to Dragon Ball, I hope they remember that Whis can do that in critical moments where it might be necessary. And the other issue I have with the writing is Zeno foreseeing the wish, foreseeing that the wish would be to bring back all the universes. I mean, it's fine if this was all some big ploy to, like, make the universes, like, raise their mortal level for their mortals to evolve, and because I know these universes were going to be destroyed because they had low mortal level, and that doesn't mean power level, that just means they have a low, I guess, progression as a civilization. I mean, they're an entire universe, but you know what I mean? Like, it's the people there, like, you know, Universe 9 is the lowest one, and it was in shambles. You know, they were on a planet that was just in pure chaos after finding out that, you know, the universe would be destroyed in the tournament, and it was just pure chaos and just a terrible, terrible place, and most of the people from that universe were kind of scumbags for the most part from what we saw, except for maybe the Trio to Danger, but even a couple of them seemed like assholes, except for maybe Bergamo, so, yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, it was just a shithole place. It was like the ghetto of the multiverse. No offense if you live in the ghetto. But yeah, so, I mean, I can see why this might have been a big thing to, like, hey, you know, let's kind of test them and see if they can actually prove that they're worth keeping around, and 17 bringing them all back was selfless, and, but I don't know, Zeno predicting, I feel like that could have just been explained better. I don't know, have we ever heard that Zeno can predict stuff? I feel like we kind of have, but not really. They kind of just say it in throwaway lines. I don't know, that was a little weird, could have been explained better. But those are the two things, Frieza and that, and everything else I liked in the episode. I liked the wish. The storyboarding, directing, again, cannot be overstated how good that is. It is incredible. And you can find Megumi Ishintani on Twitter, and I might be pronouncing her last name wrong. I think it's spelled, I'm saying it like Shintani, like the new character designer, with an E at the beginning, or like an I at the beginning, and I think it's spelled differently, but you guys know who I'm talking about. I think you can actually find her on Twitter, and, like, don't say nice shit. I'm not advertising this person's Twitter for fucking trolls to go over there and be assholes. Say nice shit. It is so annoying to see the stupid questions people ask now Toshishida. That shit is so fucking annoying because it feels like he's just going to eventually stop taking questions because of how stupid some of them are. But whatever. So yeah, I try not to advertise animators on Twitter too much. If you find them, you find them. If you don't, oh well. But yeah, you can find her on Twitter. And a lot of people have been saying nice things about the episode, and that's great, because it is a phenomenal episode. And to get that far in the industry in just a few years is really quite astonishing. So how is the ending of this series? I had one of my friends tell me that they thought this ending was better than the ending of Z. I don't know if I'd say that. It is a nice, like, ending. It feels more like an ending than Z. Like, Z kind of feels like almost the start of another arc, which I get is the point. I'm not someone who subscribes to the idea that Dragon Ball has a bad ending. I think Dragon Ball has a really good ending. It's one of those adventure continues kind of thing, on to the next adventure, but that's where the story ends. This is very similar, but also feels a little bit more like it has a finality to it. It's cool, you know, Vegeta and Goku in the desert. I mean, Goku never takes that stance, so it's clearly just there for fan service, but it looked cool. And, yeah, I liked the ending of the Dragon Ball Super. I mean, also it kind of lightens the blow that we're going to get a movie, because this was a bit of a rushed ending. You know, the final party and everything is just a montage at the end, and it's a fun montage, but it's, you know, it feels a little bit rushed. But at the same time, I kind of knew it'd be rushed, honestly. I kind of had that feeling, and that doesn't justify it, but what it does do is it lets me set my expectations up. I'm not trying to lower my expectations or anything. It's just I kind of knew what I was going to be getting into with this episode. Based on when the series was announced to be ending and all that, it kind of just made sense. And on top of that, for being rushed, it's fine. I've seen worse rushed endings. I think Samurai Jack's ending was more rushed. I think some of the final few episodes of Seven Deadly Sins were way too rushed. I think the Future Trunks arc was too rushed in that regard. This, I think, was okay. Plus, we're getting a movie. We're probably going to get another series. It's not the end of Super or the end of Dragon Ball forever, so that also lightens it being, you know, it doesn't have to be the greatest ending ever and tie up all things. You know, it left Frieza open for the future, so yeah, I thought this was a phenomenal episode. Like, 11 out of 10 good. It's an amazing episode of Dragon Ball Super. In fact, yeah, let's just give it that. Dragon Ball Super episode 131 gets an 11 out of 10. I pretty much talked about everything I want to talk about. Kind of a rambly video. Again, there's a lot to talk about because it's the last episode. And like I said, I am going to review the manga, so look forward to that. Again, that will be pretty fun. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think, yeah, and if you subscribe to my channel because of Dragon Ball Super videos or Dragon Ball videos in general, those aren't going anywhere. Reviewing the manga, I just did my 5 things I would change about the Dragon Ball series. If you haven't seen that, check that video out. You'll still get Dragon Ball content, you'll still get content from other series. My Hero Academia is going to be starting up soon, so definitely stick around. I'm not going anywhere. So with all that being said, what did you guys think of this episode of Dragon Ball Super? Did you love it like me? Did you hate it? What did you think of the final wish that 17 made? Tell me all that in the comments section below. Do you think it was a good finale? Did you not? All that stuff. Let me know. It's all a matter of opinion, of course. And give this video a thumbs up. Share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. Click that little bell to get notifications when my videos go up. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.